What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another Ghislaine Maxwell video, and today we have two congressmen who are teaming up to try to get a House vote to push for the Epstein files to be released. So we have Congressman Thomas Massie from Kentucky, and we have Congressman Ro Khanna from California. So let's get into this article. Representatives Thomas Massie, a Republican from Kentucky, and Ro Khanna, a Democrat from California, who are working together to push the Trump administration to release federal files related to Jeffrey Epstein, disagreed Sunday over whether President Donald Trump should pardon Epstein's longtime associate, Ghislaine Maxwell. Massey told NBC News Meet the Press during a joint interview with Khanna that whatever they need to do to compel Maxwell's testimony, as long as it's truthful, I would be in favor of. Khanna, on the other hand, said, "No, I don't believe that Maxwell should be pardoned or have her sentence commuted, and he is concerned that she met with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche last week." Look, I agree with Congressman Massey that she should testify, but she's been indicted twice on perjury. This is why we need the files, Khanna added. Maxwell, a longtime associate of Epstein's, was convicted of federal trafficking charges in 2021. That same year, she was accused of making multiple false statements under oath. Blanche interviewed Maxwell over 2 days last week, and growing calls for the Trump administration to release any unclassified files related to Epstein. On Friday, the president told reporters when asked about pardoning Maxwell, "I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I have not thought about." In a separate interview Sunday, House Speaker Mike Johnson, a Republican from Louisiana, said he would defer to the president on whether Maxwell should be pardoned, telling Meet the Press moderator Kristen Welker, "I won't get in front of him. That's not my lane." Johnson later added, "If you're asking my opinion, I think 20 years was a pittance. I think she should have a life sentence at least. I mean, think of all these unspeakable crimes, and as you noted earlier, probably 1,000 victims. I mean, this is hard. It's hard to put into words how evil this was." Trump has also weighed in on the Epstein files in recent weeks, writing in a post on Truth Social that he was directing Attorney General Pam Bondi to produce any and all pertinent grand jury testimony subject to court approval. Bondi and Blanche subsequently filed a motion asking for a judge to unseal records related to Epstein and Maxwell in a Manhattan federal court. A federal judge in Florida last week also denied a separate Justice Department request to release federal grand jury transcripts in connection with an investigation into Epstein there. Khanna and Massey, a bipartisan duo, have teamed up to co-sponsor a bill that would force the Trump administration to publish all unclassified records on Epstein. "Politics is the art of the doable," Massey said Sunday. "There's enough public pressure right now that we can get 218 votes and force this to a vote on the floor." Nearly a dozen of his conservative House colleagues have signed on to back Massey's joint measure with Khanna, with some Democrats, including Representatives Nancy Pelosi and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, signing on too. Last week, Johnson sent House lawmakers home from Washington one day early from their summer recess after Democrats on the powerful Rules Committee planned to force their Republican colleagues to take votes related to the Epstein files. On Sunday, Massey accused Johnson of sending lawmakers home to avoid political pain for Republicans who could be forced to take a vote on whether to release the Epstein files. "Why is it painful for Mike Johnson to call a vote on this?" the Kentucky congressman said. "The American people deserve this regardless of what the political ramifications are for the speaker." In an exclusive Meet the Press interview later Sunday, Johnson denied sending lawmakers home early, accusing Democrats of hijacking the Rules Committee. "What we did this week is in the chaos in the Rules Committee, because the Democrats are trying to use this in a shameless manner for political purposes. Quite obviously, they hijacked the Rules Committee and they tried to turn it into an Epstein hearing," Johnson said. "That's not what the Rules Committee is about. So that's why the floor votes ended on Wednesday instead of on Thursday." Several officials in the Department of Justice have said that a release of the files Khanna and Massey are pushing for is not possible without harming Maxwell and Epstein's alleged victims. Johnson echoed that argument in his Sunday interview, saying House Republicans insist upon the release of all credible evidence and information related to Epstein in any way, but we are also insisting upon the protection of innocent victims. And our concern is that Massey and Khanna discharge petition is reckless in the way that it is drafted and presented. it does not adequately include those protections. Earlier Sunday, Massey called that argument a straw man. Roe and I carefully crafted this legislation so that the victims' names will be redacted and that no child P will be released. Massey said, adding that the Justice Department officials are hiding behind that. We're trying to get justice for the victims and transparency for America, Massey added. And so we've redacted things before. We don't want to hurt the victims. We're doing this for the victims. Massey recently drew the ire of President Donald Trump and his allies after he vocally opposed a massive GOP domestic policy package that House Republicans passed last week, raising concerns about how the measure would affect the national debt. Earlier this year, two key advisors to the president even launched a super PAC that had already spent over 1 million on ads targeting Massey in his district, according to Ad Impact, with the goal of preventing his re-election to Congress next year. On Sunday, Khanna even defended Massey, praising the Kentucky Republican for standing up to Trump despite the political headwinds it created for him. The only person who suffered political pain in this whole thing is Congressman Thomas Massey for telling the truth, Khanna told Welker. He's got the president's entire team who got the president reelected coming down on him in his district, and it's just made him stronger. Khanna also addressed the political implications of this moment for his own party ahead of the 2026 midterm elections, where Democrats hope to flip the House and Senate to win control of Congress. Look, my core conviction is a new economic patriotism to reindustrialize America, a 21st century Marshall Plan for America, Medicare for all, opposing the Medicaid cuts, Khanna told Welker. But you can't do anything constructive with government if you don't trust in government. This is about trust in government. Khanna is widely seen as a potential 2028 presidential candidate and is already traveling around the country and speaking to voters outside of Washington in his home state of California. Massey also framed any failure to release files related to Epstein as damaging to his own party heading into next year's elections. This is going to hurt Republicans in the midterms. The voters will be apathetic if we don't hold the rich and powerful accountable, he said. I think when we get back, we can get the signatures required to force this to the floor, Massey added, saying that Johnson will have a choice after that. Is he going to try and change the rules of the House of Representatives midstream or not? If he does, that becomes the vote for the American people, he added. I don't think they're going to be successful with this at all because we already see what's going on here. They're trying to sweep this under the rug. They're not going to release anything from these Epstein files. Ghislaine's going to get her pardon, and that's going to be that. You guys let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you want more videos like this, please subscribe. I will be keeping an eye on this story, so lock in with me for updates.